Swamiji pointed out that we are discussing the existence and non-existence theories. In Chandogya Upanishad, Sat Asid Agre. Agre indicates time. The question is, how can you say before creation? If we talk about this, Brahman becomes limited by time and the Advaita Bhavam of Brahman will not be there. In pure existence, there is no time, no space, no speech, no action, nothing. In the 38th shloka, Acharya answers that question and says, Kala Vasanaya, because we are all in time. This is an advice given to the Shishya who is unable to understand the principle of timelessness, Brahman. In this shloka, it says that although there is nothing like time, Agre is used to indicate time. So, Siddhantin says that the word Agre is acceptable, which indicates time. Ultimately, one should understand that Brahman is pure existence. The 39th shloka is an often quoted technical shloka that talks about the duality of language. We need language to exchange ideas and for the teaching. Wherever we use language, there is duality. Advaita Bhasha is non-dual language. Questions and answers are done with language of duality. The real Advaita Bhasha is the complete Maunam of Samadhi, where there are no thoughts. For teaching, the language of duality is necessary. It must be emphasized that the language process neither objects to or disturbs the non-duality of Brahman. The 40th sloka is from Yoga Vasishta, which is a conversation between Vasishta Maharshi and Sri Ramachandra. The word sthimidam, which means the core of stability, is used. It was the state of stillness. The second adjective is gambiram or deep silence. Atistita mitagambiram, meaning that stability was in deep silence. There was neither light nor darkness. That state is beyond names and cannot be experienced by thoughts. It is said that something is there, that is the pure existence, and from that state, creation starts, where there was no creation previously. The 39th shloka said that from the absolute standpoint, there is no duality in Brahman. This is illustrated in the 40th shloka. From the 41st shloka, we see the arguments between the Nyayayikas or logicians and Siddhantins. According to the Nyayikas, there is no non-existence of space. Space is eternal. The definition of Akasha is Avakashata, that which provides space for things to exist. Why is it that your intellect, Buddhi, cannot accept that this space is not non-existent? Shloka 42 is the answer by the Siddhantins. Space cannot be perceived by the senses. Before creation means that you cannot refer to the world because they are not yet created. The word Nirjagat is used to mean without world, without creation. If this can be done, then why you cannot accept Sat without space? There was no Akasha as an entity separate from Atma. The second point of the opposition is, even if he says that there was space, Nayayika must first conceive it and only then say it. In Shloka 43, the view of the Nyayikas on this topic is refuted. This is the view of the Siddhantins. It is not possible to perceive the world without light or darkness and objects, because space is not an object of perception. When direct perception of space is not possible, then inference is also not possible. The main point of discussion is the connection between existence and space. When you accept something, the acceptance itself makes space for existence. In fact, providing space for things to exist is avakasha. Swamiji elaborates this with an example of a book. When we say, book is there in front of me, then two things are accepted. One, the space for the book meaning where the book is, and the second, the existence of the book. The conclusion should be that where there is space, there is existence. Before creation, only existence was there. You can deny space, but we cannot deny existence. Atma, which is our own self, is not subject to denial or acceptance. Ultimately, Swamiji concluded saying that only Atma exists as existence. Hari Om Swamiji.
Shrutismritipurananam karunalayam namami bhagavat padam shankaram lokashankaram shankaram shankaracharyam keshavam badarayanam Sutrabhashya krito vande Bhagavanto punah punah Ishvaro gururatmede murti bheda vibhagine Vyomavatyapta dehaya Dakshinamurtaye namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye namaha Om Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Pancadashi second chapter Bhutatattva-viveka. We have completed 42nd Sloka, where the comparison of Akasha, space, and Atma. So it is said, if space can be understood, if space can be the subject of cognition, then the Atma without qualifications can be the subject of cognition. So, how we understand space, that is important. The mind qualified for understanding the space can be used, the same minds can be qualified for the meditation of Atma Nirguna Brahma. This is the idea here. So now what is space, what is Akasha? The definition was given that which provides space for other things to exist. That is, Avakasham is Akasha. The Avakasha means giving space to others. So this is the definition of Akasha. Now, the the question is, without referring to the worldly elements, the five elements or other objects, how one can understand empty space? Because when we conceive a space, or just we say we know space, actually we are referring to worldly things with some form, something. Without name and form, mind is unable to understand anything, because then mind goes to the thoughtless state. There the cognition cannot happen. So the subject is again put into the discussion as the question was asked, the objection was there, as how we can refer to Atma without names and forms. Nirjagadvyoma drishtam chet prakasya tamasi vina kwadrishtam kinchate pakshe na pratyaksham viyat khalu. So the nirjagat vyoma drishtam chet, if the empty space is none, because all the schools of philosophers, they talk about Akasha. Some say the Akasha, the space is created. It's an effect. Others say no, it's not created. It is eternal. It is always there. However, they talk about Akasha. Nobody is denying Akasha. Only Charvakas, they don't accept, because they say we don't know Akasha is there or not. That is another question. They don't accept it. But otherwise, all the other philosophers, they accept it. So the nirjagat vyoma drishtam chet, if it is asked to the opponent who is asking about Akasha's nirvishesha, so without referring to object, so then how you talk about Akasha, which cannot be conceived by mind, it cannot be mentioned, it is not an object of mentation. So how can you say that? That's the question asked. Nirjagat vyoma drishtam che. And if you are talking about Akasha, it means you know it, somehow you know it. So however, the Akasha is taken as an object of knowledge. So prakasha tamasi vina nirjagat vyoma drishtam chet. If the space appears to be perceivable, knowable, on account of light and darkness, and without light and darkness, how you know the nirjagat vyoma? Swa kwadrishtam kinchate pakshe. And without seeing is, where can it seen except light and darkness? Where you can see it? How you can see it? Therefore, na pratyaksham viyat khalu. The Akasha, the space is not directly perceivable in that case. Therefore, without knowing, how you say that? And you say, no, I know it, I perceive it, I have some knowledge about the Akasha, even without light, without darkness, name and form, I know it. If you know it, how you know it, that is important. So you know it without a thought. If you know it, Akasha, without a form, it means without a thought. There is no form. It is called empty space. So what we call it as empty, empty means there is nothing. So the nothing, the empty feeling, there is nothing, that itself is conceived. It means I know it, the space is empty. So this is how we talk about Akasha. Actually, we are not aware about what we are talking about, what we know about Akasha. That's the idea here. Similarly, we can talk about pure existence without names and form. The difference is the pure existence is our own nature. Since it is our own nature, we don't have to consider, we don't have to go after a reference or proof to prove that we exist. But in the case of Akasha, if logically it is not proved, if rationally it is not understood, then you cannot prove it that Akasha is there or not. So this is the difference. Both have the same qualities, but Atma is experienced directly and Akasha is not perceivable directly. So that is the idea here. Now the next sloka says, Sadvastu Shuddhatvam asmabhi Nischidair Anubhuyate Tushnim Sthithau na Shunyatvam Shunya Buddhescha Arjanat. 44 sloka. Sadvastu Shuddham tu asmabhir Nischidair Anubhuyate. That is the difference. Just now I talk about that. So, Sadvastu, the pure existence, without any reference to the world. The world means names and forms. So, without the reference to the world, the Sadvastu, Shuddham Sadvastu. Asmabhir Nishchidair Anubhuyate. We experience it perfectly. There is no doubt. Actually, in the case of our own existence, self-existence, there is no need for any thought process. So no thought is required for knowing one's own self. So this is an important point. Here the Vidyaranya Mahasvami wants to say the difference is to prove Akasha, you need a thought. But in the case of Atma, there is no meditation is necessary. No mental thought is necessary. So, Sadvastu Shuddham Asmabhihi Nischidair Anubhuyate. He says Nischitaihi. You know, definitely, without a doubt. There is no chance of doubt. And when you are when you experience that, Tushnim Sthito, in the absence of thoughts, Tushnim sthitau means when we are calm and quiet in ourselves, we withdraw from outside activities, outside objective activities, turned inward without any disturbance. We are fully content and perfectly happy. So this is called Tushni Sthitihi. In other words, we can say it's Samadhi. So in that stage, we can say we are seated in that pure existence, where you are calm and quiet, no outside thoughts, no outside activity, without any disturbance. We are fully with us. So that in that state, what we experience is thoughtlessness, that is called Tushni Sthitau. Then the experience is existence, Sat. So you just try to think about that. For your own experience, there is no need for a thought. Thought is not required. And in that stage, we can't say na shunyatvam, shunya buddhescha varjanat. That stage cannot be called as shunyam, nothingness, void, because we are there. It's not shunyam. Why? The reason is shunya buddhescha varjanat. Even the shunya buddhi, even that thought is not there. You don't know about it. You never say there is nothing. Even that thought is not there. So when all thoughts cease, there we experience the Atma, that is the pure experience. Now this method is very simple and direct. If one can practice, concentrate and practice, that he can directly experience it. There is no complication, no confusion, no adding anything. You don't follow anything, you just follow yourself. So you just make the mind quiet and calm, that's all. So whenever we are in that stage, we can say that we are in that pure existence, the so-called pure existence and Sat. The Sat is Sa, like that. So there is no, it's not non-existence. It is not shunyam. Because even that thought is not there. Shunyam, 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 this thought is not there. And when that non-existence thought, shunyam thought, it disappears, how can you say shunyam is there? So therefore, all meditations, all thought process disappear from this stage. This is the difference between shunyam, akasham and existence. Now we have discussed in detail the difference between space and Atma. Similarly, the difference between shunyam and the pure existence. So we have discussed all these 3 points. So now Atma is not Akasham, Atma is not Shunyam. Atma as Sat, as pure existence, different from all this. Now, in this regard, the objection can be raised that now you say there is no shunya buddhi, there is no intellection of non-existence, there is no thought as non-existence. Then what about sadbuddhi? So he asked, sadbuddhi means the thought of existence, because I feel that I exist. Now when you deny all other thoughts, what about sadbuddhi? Why you always say there is sadbuddhi, sadjnanam, no experience of that? So even that is a buddhi, that is a jnanam, that's a thought. So what about that? So the question is asked, the objection is, sadbuddhirapi ched nasti vastvasya swabha prabhatvatah nirmanaskatva sakshitva sanmatram sugamam drinam. Now you see how this direct experience, this profound experience of Atma is described in this way, how to accept it. Now, all the idea behind the thoughts, behind the mind is Atma. Now, that thought itself, when I say there is no thought, this itself is a thought. And without thought, I can't say there is no thought. The denial itself will bring a thought there. In this case, thoughtlessness is impossible to describe. It cannot be described. So therefore, the objection is raised, sadbuddhirapi chet. The thought of existence, as you say, the thought of a perception, thought of an experience, thought of existence, anything you say, that's thought only. So the sadbuddhi, even that is thought. Sadbuddhirapi ched nasti, even that is not there, then what is the experience? How can you say there is existence without a thought? Right? Now, here we have to follow the special theory of Vedanta as the existence, consciousness, and bliss. These three are one and the same. Existence, Sat, consciousness, Chit, and Ananta as bliss. These three are one and the same. They are not actually the characteristics of Atma, but the essential nature of Atma, the unchangeable essential nature of Atma. This is what Atma means: existence, consciousness, and bliss. Therefore, if one of this is experienced, if the existence is experienced, he will experience the consciousness as well. Because without consciousness, existence cannot be experienced. Therefore, if the existence is experienced, then the consciousness is also there. Therefore, it is said, Mastu asya swaprabhattvataha. Actually, as I said, to know yourself, you don't need a thought. To experience yourself, you don't need a thought. There is no mental activity. So therefore, the existence is self-conscious. We say swaprabhavatvataha. Swaprabhavatvata means the existence, sat, is self-conscious. There is the perceiver. There the perceiver is not necessary. Because the perceiver itself is perceiving, and the perceived the triputi, the threefold stages of understanding or knowing is not there. Therefore, swaprabhavatvataha. Now, how it is experienced then? Then the next line says, Nirmanaskatva sakshitvad sanmatram sugamam nrinam. He says, the experience of the existence, since it is self-conscious, one can easily experience it. This is the easiest experience, the most direct experience. There is no medium, there is no action, nothing is there. Therefore, the experience of Atma as existence is the most direct and easy experience. There is no action in that. The reason is nirmanaskatvat, nirmanaskatva. So, only this is one condition. Provided that one must vacate, remove all the thoughts from the mind. The mind should be, or mind become non-mind, nirmanaskatva. So manaska means mindfulness. Here the mind is without thought, so mind become non-mind. All the mendations are removed, stopped. So there is no mentation, no mental activity. So in that stage, nirmanaskatva sakshitva. So you know even that process, that it is happening in you, that mental thoughts are removed. So you don't see any object there. And then it is self-revealing, self-conscious. You don't have to depend on anything. So I experience myself without a thought. If I want to know something, my mind needs to make a thought on that. So that mind become thoughtful about it. But here, if mind is thoughtful about Atma, then you can say Atma is not known. Yasya matam, tasya matam. That is what the Kenopanishad says. No. When you say I know Atma, when you say I understood Atma, right? Normally we say that after learning all this Vedanta, we say that, oh, I understood Atma, I know all this. I know what Atma is. Then you don't know. So what you studied is about something which you are not. You cannot study yourself. It means you are a student and the object of study, the subject of study is yourself. So you are learning, you are observing, you are reading yourself. Is it possible? It is not possible. Therefore, when we talk about Sat, there we need nirmanaskatva, the thoughtlessness. So there is no thought. So mind become non-mind. So nirmanaskatva sakshitva. So that sakshi is in the stage where you just witness the absence of thought, all the thoughts, mental activities. So that is sakshi, you know it. So we'll talk about sakshi later also. So nirmanaskatva sakshitva sanmatram sugamam nrinam. You see, our Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji says, the sanmatra experience, the experiencing the existence, the pure existence is so easy. Sugamam nrinam. Why you are worrying about it? It is so easy. It just make your mind, apply your mind there without thought. So remove all the thoughts. Once it is removed, then you can experience that. Otherwise also experience is there. You are seeing Atma as a perceiver, knower, thinker. So this is how you see it. But if you can stop all those activities, then the mind, when mind is not working like that, then you can experience that. So it cannot be this concept, no? This concept cannot be intellectually convincing. Now people, when they talk about anything, they study something, they want to convince their mind, their intellect with logic. Then they say it is okay. So I understood. When I say I understood, so it means my intellect is convinced with the logic applied. The problem with this subject, this is so deep, profound discussion we are doing here. You cannot intellectually convince. So if you are not convinced intellectually, don't be afraid. This is the reality. You cannot convince the experience of Atma intellectually. So therefore it is called self-conscious. When we say self-conscious, it means Atma doesn't need any thought there. It is self-conscious. It doesn't need any light. Even Vedanta is not necessary there. No science, no thought, nothing is necessary. Therefore, it is self-conscious. So, in this case, especially regarding this experience, one should not try to intellectually convince and then receive it. So you just try to experience it. This is more on experience and less on intellect. Right? So therefore it is again and again you see in many slokas this concept. Nirmanaskatva sakshitvat sanmatram sugamam bhavet swaprabhavatva. It is self-illumining, is self-conscious. Now why you go for a thought process there? No mental thought is necessary for this. So this is how we experienced it. Now the next sloka is again with the same subject, because this concept should be more clear. Therefore, again it is discussed in different with the different ideas. Manojrimbhana rahitye yatha sakshi nirakulaha maya jrimbhanata purvam sattadheva nirakulam. Manojrimbhana rahitye tatha sakshi nirakulaha. When the mind does not expand itself with thoughts, my mind is not there, but you know I am there. So this is called mano jrimbhana rahitye. So their mind has so many activities. Every moment it is expanding itself. So that mano jrimbhana rahitye, when the mind does not act like that, mind stop itself. Yatha sakshi nirakulaha. In that stage, the witness, the observer, the sakshi is clear and pure. Nirakulaha, without any disturbance, without any thought. So without any different, there is no disturbance. So nirakulaha, only conscious. That consciousness is there. Evam maya jrimbhanada purvam. So now the same thing can be applied before creation. Before creation, when there is no maya and maya agitations, then sattathaiva nirakulam. So that sat is uninfluenced with maya, then it is without modifications. Then the maya, the sat is pure. Thus that stage we call as pure existence. This I told you before as also. So when there is no maya, no function of manifestation, then the Atma, the existence, Satchidananda Atma is without any attribution, uninfluenced by anything. It is pure and no contamination, because this Maya is also a contamination as manifestation. So when Maya Jrimbhanada Purvam, that pure Sat remains the Sat only. Existence remains existence. So, sad tathaiva nirakulam. So that is called pure consciousness, pure existence. It is simply exists, that's all. It is being. It's there, that's all. So for this, to know this, we have to stop our mind, because this existence is experienced without any attribution, without any connection. So if you want to know that purity of existence, you have to remove all other activities of mind. So this is called the purest form of existence of Atma. So that is called Sat. Sat Tathaiva Nirakulam. So we are discussing Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit. The same subject is continued. Now what is Sat? What is the difference between Sat and Shunyam? And what is the difference between Sat and space without other elements? The empty space. So all this have been discussed here. Now, the Sakshi, who is the Sakshi, the witness, is beyond all these activities. Now, how it can be known? Then why the Maya? What is the role of Maya? You see, when we want to talk about creation, we need a material cause, because in the process of creation, there must be something called material cause. Some stuff should be there. So this pure existence cannot be material cause, because this pure existence and consciousness is beyond all these activities, all these modifications. And the pure existence cannot be modified as well. So the modification cannot be there in pure existence. Then how can you make a creation from that? Because without modification, nothing can be created. Like if you want to create a pot out of clay, you need the clay and you have to modify it. You have to change it. And when curd is made out of milk, some modification happens. So without modification, nothing can be produced. So when we talk about creation, we have the full-fledged theory of creation, the long discussed theory of creation. Now, in that theory, the first thing is we have to accept a material cause. And the second thing is we need a efficient cause and all other supportive causes. Without that, we can't talk about creation. Right? Then, with this, when we take Brahman Atma as Sat Chit Ananda, only with Sat Chit Ananda, we can't establish our theory of creation. That's the problem. Therefore, in order to make this theory complete, the theory of creation complete, in order to make that, we bring the material cause as Maya. The Maya is not different from Brahman. still it is different from Brahman. Now this is a trick. How Maya is different from Brahman and how Maya is not different from Brahman. So this is going to be discussed now. The next sloka. Nistatva karyagamyasya shaktir mayagni shaktivat nahi shakti kvajit kaischit buddhyade karyata pura. Now you see, now we change some words. You can see the changing of the vocabulary, how he is changing it. Now we are bringing Maya. So till 46th shloka we discussed about Sat, the existence, non-existence, and all this were there. Now the other point is, what is this Maya? When you say Maya Jrimbhanadaha Purvam, the last line we studied was Maya Jrimbhanada Purvam. Before the function of Maya, only pure existence existed. Now, what is this Maya? Then what is this Maya? Where Maya comes from? So what is the source of Maya? Why do you accept Maya? This is the question here. Now, listen to it very carefully. In this sloka and the next sloka, we can see how the Maya is different from Brahman, still it is not different from Brahman. Okay. So, it's very tricky. Nistatva karyagamya. Now, when there is some manifestation, when there is some action, we say there is a power behind it. There is a cause behind it. Okay. So karyagamya. Karyagamya means inferred from the effect. The power, the Shakti, is inferred from the effect. So, karyagamyasya Shaktihi, power called Maya. This is a power for the manifestation. Karyagamya. So, where there is power, we infer it as power. Because without power, the effect cannot happen. So, nistatva. But what is that? It says nistatva. It is independently non-existent. Now, this Maya is there, but it is not independent. It cannot be separated from Ishvara. If the Maya is separated from Ishvara, it becomes non-existent. So therefore, nistatva. Nistatva means we don't say this is nothing. Maya is nothing, but we say Maya is non-existent independently. When Maya is seen independently, it is non-existence. When Maya is seen based on Brahman or depend on Brahman, it gets Shakti, it becomes a power of creation. It becomes the material cause of creation. Right? So this is the difference. So you can't separate Maya. Why it is called Shakti? It is called power. For example, Agni Shakti Vata. Now, power of something is inseparable from that thing. For instance, now fire. Fire has burning power. It can burn. This we call as Jwalara Shakti. So now fire has a very special quality, a power that it has some energy. So that special energy of fire is burning. It can burn. Okay. Now the power of this burning, that we can call it heat also. So power of something as the power of fire cannot be separated from fire. But still, the power of fire is different from fire. And this power of burning, the power inheres in fire. It is inherent in fire. Okay. So this is the inference. So now if you imagine fire without burning and burning without fire, is it possible? No. Similarly, the Maya cannot exist without existence Sat Atma, and the Sad Atma cannot become material cause of creation without Maya. Because in that pure existence, there is no manifestation, no changes. No change can happen. Okay? So this is inferred like this. Nahi Shakti Kojit Keischid Buddhyade Karyada Pura. It says the Shakti, the power, the energy of anything, the special power, cannot be known before the creation of the effect, before the creation of Karya, the effect. Now, how we know somebody has power? If someone is in front of us, how we know that person has power? He has so much power. When he does something, when he moves some stones or something, some heavy things, you know, he has so much power. If he is sitting quiet or sleeping, he cannot infer what power he has. No, now we always see the earth movers, no, everywhere the work is going on, we see the missions, earth movers. So when that moves and hits the rocks and removes the earth, when you see it, you know how much power it has. So the power is inferred by the effect, by the action done by that power, action performed by that power. So nahi shakti kvachit kaischid buddhyade karyada pura. So he says the power cannot be known before the effect is created, before the action is performed. So this power, the Shakti and Shaktiman. So we call it Shiva and Shakti. We have Shiva and Shakti. So we can take Shiva as the existence Atma and Shakti as Maya. Now we have Shiva Shakti, Purusha and Stri, no, this Shiva Shakti connection. So now this Shiva and Shakti is inseparable. Shiva cannot be separated from Shakti, Shakti cannot be separated from Shiva. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavadi Shakta Prabhavitum. That is what Saundarya Lahari says. So Shiva and Shakti are to be inseparable. So inseparable, it means they are mutually dependent. The mutual dependence, biopolar existence, we can say biopolar existence. They exist in each other and by each other. Maya and existence of Sat, in the context of creation, we say Maya needs the support of existence and existence needs the support of Maya for creation. In that context, it needs. So they have biopolar existence, mutual dependent existence. So this is called Shiva Shakti connection. Now it is so clear that nothing exists without power, without energy. So the material cause and energy combined with existence and consciousness. So now we have all the stuff for creation. So then the creation can happen. If everything is ready, we can create. The next sloka says about this coexistence of Shiva and Shakti, existence and Sat and Maya. Na sadvastu sadashaktir nahi vakhne swashaktita sadvilakshanatayam tu shakte kim tattvamucyatam. Na sadvastu sataha shaktihi. The power of a substance, anything like fire, is not the substance itself. Na sadvastu sataha shaktir na. Not of the nature of its power. Now when we say fire is with the power of burning, it can burn. Then what does it mean? It's can we say the power is existing because of burning? No, we don't say that. So na sadvastu sadaha shakti. Because of power, the Atma, the Sad is there. We don't say that. Atma has the potential of creation, that it creates. But we can't say Atma cannot stay without creation. So fire is there. Whenever it needs to burn, it burns. When that situation comes, it burns. And when there is no need, there is no creation, no power, nothing. So na sadvastu sataha shakti. So not of the nature of its own power. It cannot be called like that. Nahi vahnehe swashaktita. Now, for instance, the power to burn is not the fire itself. Fire has the power, but power to burn is not the fire itself. We can't say the fire is burning. The burning is different from fire. So, if you want to call somebody, no, you call that person by name or something, no, some quality of that person. But you don't say, you don't call the person or identify the person with the power he has. The person is different from the power. Power is an action. Like one singer, one who knows how to sing. So he sings. So when he is singing, we call it as singer. So this is a special quality he has. But the singing is not himself. He has that quality, but we can't identify the singing with the person. Like somebody is cooking. He is a cook. We call it a cook. Okay. The reason is he know how to cook. Now that is a quality he has. He is using that quality. So while he is cooking, we can call him cook. But the cooking is not identified with the person. The person is not cooking, right? The cooking is a quality of. If you call a person, you call it a cook because he cooks. But if you call him as, oh, cooking, come here. Can you call like that? You cannot call him. So the cooking is the power, a Shakti in him. He uses that Shakti. When he uses that Shakti, you call him cook. That is right. But you cannot call him cooking. Cooking is a power, it's a process. It's an action. That person, that cook doesn't identify himself with the cooking. He says, this is my job, is my interest, is my hobby. I am different from that. So this is interesting how the power of a particular action is different from the person who is holding that power, who is having that power. So we have to think about it. We sometimes know, we identify the action and the action maker. We should not identify. The action is different from the action maker. So nahi vahnehe swashaktita. So this is very important to understand the difference between Maya and Brahman, and how Maya is dependent on Brahman, and how Brahman is dependent on Maya for the creation, for the sake of creation. So in order to make all this clear in a systematic way, in Vedanta, we make adhyaropa. We call it the methodology of adhyaropa, superimposition. So we take all these qualities, whatever qualities we need for creation, and make the Brahman as material cause and efficient cause. Material cause with the support of Maya, and efficient cause with the consciousness. So just to teach the student the how student can easily understand the idea, no, to elucidate the teaching. Otherwise, there is so many confusions. People cannot understand. So we make a perfect methodology and then talk about that. So this is the process. Sad vilakshanaadayam tu shaktehe kim tattvam uchyadam. Therefore, he is asking, when you separate the power, the Shakti, different from, no, when you separate the Shakti from Brahman, then what about Shakti? Then how can you define Shakti? Though what is Shakti? There is no power. So the power without the assistance, or without the person who is holding that power, it has no meaning. So the power is dependent, always dependent on that person who is using the power. In this way, you cannot separate the cooking, the power of cooking, the art of cooking from the cook. Still the cook is different from the art of cooking. So this is how it is made together. So the next sloka will conclude with this discussion. I think that we will learn next time, because again it is Sat and Asat. As I said, Maya is separate from Brahman, still it is inseparable from Brahman. So how is it? Now we will discuss in next session, because now already we crossed the time. So let it be here. Hari Om. Om. So over to you for related questions.
Ram Ram Acharya. Aham Priya Ram. And Shiva Shakti oda அந்த காம்பினேஷன் சொன்னது ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. அந்த அம்பாலோடையும் சிவரையாவோடையும் அனுகிரகத்தை சீக்கிரம், அதாவது எப்படி கிடைக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன வழி, என்ன பண்ணணும், என்ன பூஜைகளா இல்ல
பண்ணணும்? அதானே பிரார்த்தனை பண்ணிடுங்கோ.
பிரார்த்தனை பண்ணா போறோம்.
பிரார்த்தனை பண்ண.
சரி மகோதயா. சரி ஆச்சாரியா.
Thank you.
My namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Mr. Rakesh, you have a question.
Yes, ma. Thank you. Hari Om Swamiji. Namaskaram.
Yeah. Hari Om. Welcome.
So Swamiji, can we say that Maya is Asat and Brahman is Sat, from the conclusion what we have learned today?
No. We don't say that. That's the trick here. No, I repeatedly said, we don't directly say Maya is Asat or we don't directly say Maya is Sat. So the next sloka, we will see that, because it is not Sat and not Asat. It is both. It is existence as well as non-existence. It cannot be said existence, it cannot be said non-existence. So it is different aspect, different perception of, or different views of the same object. So that we will discuss in next sloka. It is the same thing we discussed there. Na shunyam napi sat tadrik yadrik tattva miheshyatam. That is what the Acharya is going to say. And again in Pancadashi, you will see in Chitradeva Prakaranam and another Prakaranam also, we will have a long discussion about this concept. This is the second chapter, just Acharya is introducing here. Now we will have again this Tattvam, Tattvamiti, then there are so many verses like that.
So Swamiji, one thing is clear, that Brahman is Sat. And you say that Maya is neither Sat nor Asat. Then how can we define Mana? What's Maya? What's it? It's neither
it
Sat
cannot
nor...
be defined. It cannot be defined. Only we can define that Maya is the Shakti of Brahman, the inseparable Shakti of Brahman, as I said just now. And we can't say it is connected to Brahman. It is based on Brahman. Why it is based on Brahman? Why we call it Shakti? That's just now I said, to elucidate the methodology of creation, to understand the methodology of creation, how the creation happens. So in creation, we need a material cause, and we need an efficient cause, and all these stuffs to make that theory perfect, theory understandable. So for that, we take all these things, all these are based on Brahman only. So we take one point, each point to discuss and make different subject clear. So when we talk about experience and knowledge, we talk that Sat Chit Ananda, that is only reality. When we talk about creation, we bring Maya, then there is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and all these manifestation formulas are there. So it is a long discussion about the creation. So that is only for the sake of creation, for the sake of knowledge of creation. So when that is completed, the purpose of that is completed, then again we talk about Satchidananda. So the Satchidananda is the only reality. It doesn't change. In all conditions, Satchidananda is the only reality. And other things, as we need, we sometimes some places we elaborate, and some places we just introduce, like that, whenever it is needed.
So Swamiji, like you said that fire is the reality and burning is its effect. Likewise, Maya is the effect of Satchidananda. Is it that?
Yeah, Maya is not the effect of Sat. Maya is the power of Sat. I said, no, the potentiality of Sat. The potentiality of creation. So right, Sat holds all these potentialities, all these possibilities. So this is how we define it.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Swamiji, there's a question from Mr. Vishnu Prasad. In 45th shloka, it is mentioned that we humans can easily perceive the Sakshi Bhava, Sat Matrata. If Sat can be perceived so easily, why is the experience of omnipresence not easily achieved?
Yeah. So the experience of Sat is different from the all-pervading experience. The all-pervading experience, we need to make a separate thought process. Because when we are in pure existence, since there is no thought, we don't know what it is. As in Sushupti, as in deep sleep, also we have the same experience. But we are unaware about that nature of the reality of that experience. Therefore, one has to make Brahmakara Vritti for that particular purpose. So the Brahmakara Vritti, the purpose of Brahmakara Vritti is this, that it says you are not only this, you are not limited to this body mind complex, you are all pervading, you are everywhere. Your existence is not limited to this physical body. And this experience, this knowledge can be gathered in waking state only in waking state. So there we have all this Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana, studies, meditation on all this process. So this is, no, it is a condition. So when we say Sanmatram Sugamam, it is very easily understood, provided by this knowledge. So if you know Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, you know the Vedantic thoughts, and then with these thoughts, if you enter into this Sanmatra experience, then of course you will experience that I am everywhere. So that is discussed there. So Mano Drimbhana Rahitya, it is also said. And this all-pervading knowledge is not a thought process. In the beginning, when we learn, it is a thought process. But after that, it becomes our own nature. Often this is considered as meditation, no virtual meditation. It is not. It is even beyond meditation. This is not a meditation. Because only with existence, you can't meditate. Because meditation is, we can say, no, it is very less, very lower state of this existence experience. So the existence experience is natural. So there you don't need any meditation. Okay. So anything else?
Hariom, Swamiji.
Oh, Hariom, please.
Swamiji, I have a question, Swamiji.
Yes.
Swamiji, given that Ishvara has exercised his potential of creating the world, which is he has used his Maya Shakti to create the world,
Correct.
which means he could have remained as Sat, but he said, I will become many, I'll become Bahusyam, and I will have this experience, and hence he has action in him. And given Ishvara does actions, we can never cease from doing action, right? A jnani or even a person who realizes that he is Brahma cannot cease from action, because action is innate tendency of Brahman. Because he has acted to create the world. We don't know Brahman without creating the world.
No. It's not like that. There is some more clarification necessary. You see, when we talk about action, action is action is manifestation. Okay. So if something is in action, it means it is in manifestation. The Brahman, in Brahman, there is no action, But we can say, we infer that in Brahman, there is the potentiality of action. Action is like, no, the first manifestation. It's a manifestation. So, but in Brahman, there is no action. In the existence Satchidananda, there is no action. And no action, no reaction, nothing is there. It is completely calm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Correct. So, all the actions are implied there because no other place, no other base is there to imply it. So therefore, we cannot imperatively say that actions are there. We can just assume and infer that since everything is created from there, the action is also created from there.
So if action is created from there, Swamiji, my tendency is also to act because Karya Karana connection. So I am being Karya of this Karan Brahman. I will also act because he also acts, and I will also Sat because he is also Sat. But what I then want to ask is, does that mean even after enlightenment, I will still have to act, even after become Jiva Mukti and Videha Mukti? Nothing called no action. I have to act because human tendency is to act. So I am consciousness. Even next time I have to act, or do something.
No. It's not like that. It is like like the potential energy and the kinetic energy. The kinetic energy will not be continuously working like that, moving like that. So when it is in movement, it has some power behind it. Then it is that movement is there. Here for you and me, the action is because of our karma, prarabdha karma, which is formed from that source of energy, or we can say the potential energy as the sanchita karma or anything like that. And it will go for a span of time. It stops there. It cannot carry on and continue without stopping, because every action has a stoppage when there is no force behind it. So when the force behind it, it will work like the second theory of Isaac Newton. We call it as the action and reaction, and all those things happens there. So therefore, when we call it Maya as potential state of energy, we call it as material cause, because from Maya, all this creation happens. So we have to accept Maya as the source of this creation, the cause, the material cause. Therefore, when I started this discussion, I started from this point only. So in that stage, the Satchidananda Brahma become Maya Upahita Brahma. It means Satchidananda Brahma, that Satchidananda Brahma become Maya Upahita Brahma, influenced by Maya, attributed by Maya and its action and reaction. This is how the process goes. So there is no permanent action, or there is no permanent effect of energy. Energy, we infer energy when there is effect. That is also said in 47th shloka. The
Shakti
energy is inferred by effect only.
Hmm.
If there is no effect, if you don't want any effect, so you don't use energy, you don't use power, you are quiet, you are sitting quiet and calm, and there is no movement. Right? This is how it is said. Okay?
Okay,
So we
Swami.
stop here by this.
Yes, Swamiji.
Hari Om. Om Purnamataha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.